Hi there, my name is Simon Lasserre, and I'm the Pastoral Associate at Emmanuel Anglican Church and the Refinery Arts and Spirit Centre in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. I'm here today to talk with you about spiritual health during the pandemic. Did you know that people with good spiritual health often live longer, have more fulfilling relationships, less chronic health problems, and better overall health than those with poor spiritual health? It's true. In fact, researchers are now confirming what has been commonly known for millennia. Good spiritual health has very positive effects on our overall health and well-being. And who wouldn't want that? Now, during this time of pandemic, good spiritual health is especially important. So how can attending to our spiritual health help us through these difficult times? When you see all the pictures of the fires on the news, or read about all the protests and violence in so many places, how do you respond? You could tell yourself you're not an angry person, yet you could also tell yourself that unlike others, you and your loved ones have done pretty well during this stressful time. But is that a spiritually healthy response to our times? Will it help you over the long term? Maybe. Building spiritual health begins by addressing our perceptions. Our perceptions are basically the stories we tell ourselves about reality. So, when we see videos of the wildfires or pictures of the violence at protests, we could tell ourselves things like, our world is falling apart. There is such suffering for so many people at this time. Why can't our leaders and politicians get it right? Why do we have to live through this time when everything is being turned upside down? What really is the point about thinking about the future when life just seems to be going from bad to worse? There is some truth to these perceptions. There is a great deal of suffering at this time. But these perceptions are only part of the truth. The truth is always bigger than our perceptions. So, part of building good spiritual health is learning to broaden our perceptions so they include more of the truth. So how do we do that? Well, it all starts with awareness. Awareness is our ability to notice and understand the stories we tell ourselves about our lives and experiences. So, if, say, my coworker is really getting on my nerves, I could notice the stories I'm telling myself about them. I could be telling myself something like, wow, they're really a terrible person. Why do they always treat me that way? Or I could be telling myself something like, this is really frustrating what they're doing right now, but I also know they're stressed. So I'm going to treat them gently and kindly. In both cases, I've noticed the stories I've told myself about how my coworker is behaving. But then I can also notice how I respond to these stories. So, when I tell myself my coworker is a terrible person, I can also notice how this causes me to feel anger and resentment toward them. Or, when I notice myself seeing how my coworker's stress is causing them to behave negatively, I can also notice how this acknowledgement helps me respond compassionately. By being aware of the stories we tell ourselves about the people and situations in our lives, it therefore becomes possible to choose how we might respond to every aspect of our lives. Ultimately, good spiritual health helps us make good choices about our relationships, our investments of time and energy, and how we impact the world around us. So, by becoming aware of the stories we tell ourselves about our lives and everything in them, it becomes possible to imagine different stories for ourselves. In other words, our lives can be transformed for the better simply by taking the time to build better spiritual health. Our world desperately needs people who are able to imagine hopeful, joyful, and compelling possibilities for the future. Not only will this help us promote healing in our own lives, but it will also help us promote healing in our relationships and in the world around us. In November and January, Emmanuel Anglican and the Refinery will be offering a 7-session workshop series online in partnership with Queen's House Retreat and Renewal Center here in Saskatoon. In this learning opportunity, we'll be exploring spiritual health in depth, looking at how spiritual health affects all of our lives. Please click on the link found below this video if you're interested in viewing more information about this workshop series. I'm Simon Lasserre, and I look forward to talking with you again about spiritual health during the pandemic.